We're going to do some clarifiers here. That's what I know. So this is ultimately about an ending of a cycle, completion of a cycle as well. Excuse me. Ending one phase, going into a new. Couldn't get it out. But you got 3 endings here already, but 1 new beginning. But the only thing that's keeping you right now from going on starting a new love life, or either starting a new love life, loving yourself, starting a new spiritual journey, has to do with the fact that there is a burden, perhaps, from this lover situation. Okay, because the Lovers and the Ten of Swords is here. Something ended really bad. Something ended. And it's a really bad ending usually. The Ten of Swords. The Ten of Swords is a very aggressive ending. I personally would prefer like a gentler ending if there had to be some sort of way to end stuff. But something was abruptly put to a stop here. Now I don't know exactly what this stop was. Maybe this was just some sort of communication or some sort of contact. But you have the Page of Pentacles. But here's the thing, the Ten of Swords doesn't necessarily have to mean an ending per se. Not a bad one anyway, or an aggressive one. It could just indicate here that the worst of this connection is over, right? Whatever went down, that's done. Which is perhaps why you guys are having this, situation, or having this card come up as your goal and ambition. Which is conflict, or hashing out inner turmoil, pretty much. Because it's so interesting. I'm gonna still pull. Why is the Ten of Swords in their external energy? Because I feel like you guys laid out a really good foundation for this relationship. You guys moved up in a higher place of commitment with this relationship, and then you guys move into the Lovers, right? This you recognize in the profound connection. I think for some of you guys, you're really feeling that that closeness, or that that draw between you and this individual. It's very profound. But I feel like I don't know if this actual connection actually ended, or that something within this connection that was a problem ended, but there's still somebody holding on to this burden, which is why it's asked to be let go. I think there's something bad happened here, but there's some connection. Like, I think the connection is still there. I think you guys are still involved with the person by the way this looks, but what I do feel is that there's a little bit of forgiveness that's needed here. Because I feel like the progress to move forward is hard to do because you guys have hit the worst of the worst with this relationship. But there's potential for great growth here. The Page of Pentacles, it talks about potential for great growth. Yes, it'll be a little bit of work. Sure, maybe not the most exciting, but it's still progress towards building something of great value between you and this person, something that will last a long time, And I feel like the putting down the burden part has a lot to do with the forgiveness factor, Scorpio. You may have to just forgive this person, or forgive the situation, forgive yourself for whatever happened. I don't know if it's guilt or whatever, but I feel like this has to do with the King of Swords. So the reason why the Ten of Swords came up is because of the King of Swords. Now, I don't know if this is an Aquarius for you guys, Gemini, or Libra, but this could have been that let me pull one more. Somebody separated. That's what that tells me. The King of Swords is usually a card, the divorced king. Ten of Wands. That's the burden. Maybe somebody left? Why is the future the Page of Pentacles? It's starting to get real interesting. Ooh, marriage. That's marriage, y'all. When I see the Page of Pentacles and Justice, as marriage. Now, for some of you guys, it could be divorce because of just how this is. One more card for that. What is this? What is this combination here? Please clarify that. No, it's marriage. It's marriage. It has the potential to be marriage, right? Because it's, for everybody, it may be different. Some of you guys, it's about, engaging in the heart. Just like, let's work together. Let's build something of great foundation. Look at that, the Four of Wands. I think something just went down. Maybe there was a need maybe there was a separation or some things where you guys had to stop talking for a little bit. But I think it was because there's some things that needed to just kind of be put to rest. Now, for some of you guys, this King of Swords was probably really honest, very truthful. Maybe this was you, and I think the situation had a lot to do with the way you were thinking, perhaps, or maybe someone else. Now, the reason why I say you is because the kings are fixed signs in the tarot. But it doesn't have to be you. It could be that this other person, maybe something ended with this person, I think, becoming more clear of their truth, right? I think something is definitely swapped places here. Something ended and it was replaced with somebody's truth. But then now they have the Ten of Wands here. The Ten of Wands has to do with this, right? The thing that's keeping you from new love. This is where it gets real interesting. Why do we have the 10? What is the 10 of Wands here then? What is the burden? What is the burden? What is the burden? The Star. See, I'm serious. Are you dealing with an Aquarius? Oh, believing in something new. I get it. Okay. So, something definitely went down. But I don't think it was for the worst. I mean, the worst is over between whatever was going on with you and this person. But I feel like the burden is obviously the fact that there is a lack of hope. And that lack of hope can honestly be fixed. It's just by recognizing the truth, where you stand, creating new boundaries, but also keeping an open mind. Now, the King of Swords, he's not very good at keeping an open mind. He's got a good, he's got his own perspective and things like that. He don't really let anybody else go in his brain like that and persuade him to do other things. He's the Aquarius card, right? He's got his own mindset. He's got his own belief system. But he's open to hearing other people out. He just is not going to let that, change his own perspective, if that makes sense, unless it's something really big. And I feel like for some of you guys, you may have been in a very strong protective mode. I think you guys have been very protective of your relationship, protective of yourself, and it's because of this this potential of great happiness here, or this spark of this inspiring relationship that's making you feel very protective of it. But this 10 of Wands is also the burden of which you guys have this, this faith conflict, which is why the conflict has to be resolved, right? It makes sense. Now, what this coming up in the future has a potential of something long term, of something that is binding between you and this individual. Maybe even apology, And I feel like for some of you guys, it's either you have to apologize or someone else has to apologize, or someone else is coming in to apologize. But I feel like it starts by forgiveness first. It still goes all the way back to forgiveness for me. And I know the 5 of Wands is your goal, aim, ambition, which is weird enough. But I think it's like you want to overcome this intense time where there is a lot of stuff going on, and you just don't know what path to take, if that makes sense. Not what path, but like what you're going to do to overcome this challenge. I think you want to overcome the challenge mostly. Why is the 5 of Wands coming up in your goal and ambition? Okay, the Wheel of Fortune. Because of a second chance. I feel like you guys do want to take another opportunity. I think the turmoil has a lot to do with starting over, taking another opportunity with somebody, or starting over with somebody. But it starts with the death card, not the devil, but the death card, which indicates moving on, leaving behind the old. So, leaving it for death to take so you can have a new, so you can start a new life, the Ace of Cups. And I feel like that's the turmoil, right? Because it's like, how do you drop the burden of whatever happened between you and this individual and then still move forward? Or maybe this isn't having anything to do with you and another person. Perhaps you have, maybe you've hit rock bottom, or if you hit the worst of the worst in your own life, and the last thing you want to do is this relationship to go with it. Some of you guys are just worried that your connection will fall through because of maybe this need for you guys to just detach for a little bit, or to just kind of take some time away. Maybe you guys just need some time to think. Because the King of Swords does, I feel like he does detach. He does look at a situation from his left brain. He's not really engulfed in creative energy. He's not very creative in that sense. He's good at coming up with ideas, yes, in that creative sense, in that respect, but I do get this feeling that you guys here, it's like you guys are taking the left brain approach, like the brain part, right? The mind, because it's mind, it's heart and head and heart. It's not the balance of head and heart, but the lovers, this does indicate the head and the heart, a head-heart decision, right? And it's not really a real decision because you know what you love. It's just coming to terms and accepting that truth. And I feel like it's like coming to and accepting that, that your love for this individual is true, one. Or it could be that, the situation, no matter how bad it got, you still love this person and you do want to overcome some stuff with this individual. The stars indicating that you want a new beginning, but it's hard to find hope where there was a lot of devastation here. But I think it's hard to battle yourself out of the whole, freeing yourself from old attachments part. But I feel like if this love is really this profound, why let the old stuff, why let this past pain, especially if they've proved to you that shit is in the past and that's not there anymore, you're the only one carrying the burden now. You're the only one carrying the burden of, well, this happened last time. If you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like this person is showing you that Ten of Swords is the Ten of Swords. It's done. It happened, but it doesn't have to be this way, right? Not, all we can do is go up from here, because we hit the rock bottom. And I feel like this person is definitely proving that. But it's up to you to regain trust, not only trust, but not in the person, but in yourself, to continue to grow and build a relationship, which will require you to make space for that new beginning, for that Ace of Cups. Definitely a lot of clarifiers, and typically I don't pull this many, but I just wanted to be more nosy. Just wanted to get some more information. Like, whew. Yeah, guys, there's a reason for you to hope and to strive for more. There's reason for you to reach for the stars. And I know it's hard considering the things that they have done or you have done or whatever the situation was that really hurt you guys. But there is nothing keeping you back, nothing holding you back really. It's the old stuff that's holding you, that's keeping you captive and keeping that whole potential for a great happiness at bay. But free yourself from the attachment of the pains from the past. Forgive those things that have happened and know that you have the opportunity to create something new, because you are going into this with new love of yourself, with a new perspective. This is a brand new beginning. Now, you guys have TikTok, and that does talk about timelessness and everything. There's no need to rush. There's no need to feel like you have to make this in a hurry. Don't feel like you have to hurry, because death takes a long time. But TikTok does talk about there's no such thing as a time. There's no such thing as time, really. I mean, time is a good measurement for us to figure out what time it is or when we need to do and whatever. But as far as having a physical weight on our lives, none. Children, I don't know if y'all were trying to have kids and maybe the other person was barren or something. Maybe that's why this relationship is hard to continue. But there's still great, beautiful things that you guys can do. Children can still be a part of your lives. I would definitely consider adoption, and I know it's not as easy if someone definitely wanted to have their own children, but I don't think that it's, you can still have your own babies. You can still have your babies. They just they don't have to come from you in order to be yours. But that's for someone else. I don't think that's for very many of you. What was I saying with TikTok? But yeah, everything happens in a very timeless fashion, right? And I mean timeless, it means like the past, the present, and the future all exist in one moment. Like we are the literal construct of past, present, and future. Because how I am was by my past, and you can see my past with how I have been acting, how I act, how I am, who you are, even, right? You can tell your past, but then you can also see your present, what you're dealing with, how you're reacting to that, how your past plays a role in your present, and then the future, what you're going to do later with what you have, what you've learned, what you're experiencing, and what you may learn from what you're experiencing now. Everything happens in this whole cohesive, harmonious, crazy, jumbled up mess. But it's about taking this and still going with rolling with the punches, you know what I mean? And not letting the past, not letting the past be the star, not letting the present be the star, and not letting the future be the star. Just being. I'm going to go ahead and read you the affirmation for TikTok as well, because I feel like The card does a better job explaining it than I do sometimes. It is also divine timing as well. Alright? So when humans created time, everything changed and contracted. People have come to look at life in a linear way, imagining that the past is behind them and the future ahead of them. But what if that isn't true at all? What if everything, creativity, beauty, chaos, and order, were happening now in a glorious timelessness? You have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire. So release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations. And that's crazy. That's saying all this about co-creating and taking your time, because maybe the situation was just too soon to call. And now a lot of times, right, when people, and I don't do health readings, guys, but one of the things is kind of in my eye is this King of Swords and the Ten of Swords and the Lovers here. And then children. And it's like, for some of you guys, you may just need to take a little more time. Maybe if you can't have children now, maybe you can have children later. It's always those things. You kind of have to just kind of give space and time to do so. You don't have to rush, don't rush for it. But that's interesting that's coming up. But also the expectations, letting go of the expectations portion has a lot to do with the Ten of Wands, right? Again, letting go of your expectations. Maybe the star is what you guys have been expecting. Your dreams and everything like that. You're holding on to expectations of something, right? Which may be why you guys may be a little bit disappointed. But anyway, you have all the time in the world to co-create the life you desire. So release your agenda. Let go of your need to shape each moment to your expectations, knowing that what is yours will never be withheld from you. True. See, like, you will be able to make whatever you want to make, to build a beautiful relationship that you want to build, have the beautiful things that you want to have. But it's going to take time. It's not going to happen overnight. And I don't think a lot of you guys are thinking that way, but I think it will help, especially with with starting a new beginning with this relationship, if this is what's going on for a lot of you guys. Miracles are here right now and always show up when you need them, right on time.